Ever watched a film and thought, hey, why would anyone do that? That's not bad plotting. It's a verisimilitude problem. Welcome to Frequently Made Mistakes. I am Sudhish Kamath and today we are exploring why we sometimes stop believing what we see. Today we are discussing a recent offender, Jigra. In the very first scene of Jigra, a father calmly apologizes to his child and then leaps off a balcony in front of her and her baby brother. The film never recovers from that. So what is this verisimilitude and why is setting it up right so important that it's a make or break? Let's get started. Now, verisimilitude just means truth-like. It's not about perfect realism, but it's about internal consistency. Verisimilitude could be cultural or formal. Cultural verisimilitude is what fits genre conventions, audience expectations, cultural norms, those kind of things. Formal verisimilitude, on the other hand, are the rules the film establishes itself very early on, telling you this is the world and these are the rules of the world. Verisimilitude is what helps us identify characters or relate to them without being skeptical of them. We've seen very effective use of verisimilitude in some of our favorite films. Ram Gopal Varma's Satya, for example, feels like Mumbai itself. Every alley, every face, we seem like we know it. Masaan captures raw emotion in a stolen glance. Even Animal leans into its toxic alpha male fantasy and never wavers from that tone set. And my favorite use of verisimilitude is Usual Suspects, written by Christopher McQuarrie, who won an Oscar for it. All McQuarrie had was a deadline. He had these newspaper clippings all around him and he had to come up with a story within a deadline, and all he knew about the film he was writing was that it's about the usual suspects. He got the idea from a poster, so there are like 5 guys in a poster. One of them did something wrong. What did he do wrong and how does he pull it off? So Christopher McQuarrie pulled out names from real headlines, hid every clue from the start, so when the Kaiser Soze twist hits, it lands perfectly. Because what had happened was that he had become Kaiser Soze. He was borrowing elements from the headlines that he was reading, names from his cup, and making it all part of the story, and foreshadowed it very early on that when the final twist hits, when the cup drops, you know, oh, it was there all along, we just didn't see it. But the fact that it was there all along is the reason why we buy that big twist. Take even comic books, for example. I mean, even Superman has his kryptonite. He can do anything, but he's got the weakness, kryptonite. It's this one real weakness that makes us connect to that character. It keeps the stakes real and the world believable. Jigra never finds its feet after its opening scene because it leaves the audience with many questions. Why would a father do that? How does Satya cope? Shouldn't the story explore her trauma? Instead, we are plunged into a fictional nation with draconian drug laws and a sister on a mission plot. There is no emotional build-up to justify her vigilante turn. Just remember how her dad was a sociopath and he took his life. Just that. Now, the production team has done a fab job in designing the prison itself, and the rules of the prison seem quite consistent. At least until the film casually name drops John Woo, Wong Kar-wai, Kim Ki-duk, etc. This fanboy name drop yanks us out of that world of realism, out of that world of the prison. It reminds us that we're just watching a movie. And since we don't really get to spend too much time with Satya's trauma post her father's death or the aftermath of it, her hunger, her pent-up darkness, or how she copes is a bit of a mystery. So suddenly when she goes on her gun-doting, jailbreak, do-or-die mission, it doesn't feel organic. The thing about stories is when you break your own rules, you kind of break the spell. If you want to keep it real, keep it real. A fanboy detour just breaks the spell. So how do you fix the verisimilitude problem? Writer, director and dramatic writing guru David Mamet, in his book, 3 Uses of a Knife, talks about lead belly's metaphor. You take a knife, you use it to cut the bread so you have strength to work. Then you use it to shave so that you can look nice for your lover. On discovering her with another, you use it to cut her lying heart. Now let's just break down that knife metaphor. In Act 1, the knife is just a functional everyday tool. It's used to shave. In Act 2, the knife is a versatile tool. You improvise with it. In Act 3, the same knife, you use it to kill. The same knife has now become a killer tool. Now the knife isn't literal. It's a metaphor. It's the tool that your protagonist already possesses and is using it on an everyday basis. If Satya is going to go all guns blazing in Act 3, we need to know where this tool was in Act 1 and Act 2. Which is why we need to see her grief, her obsessiveness, her darkness in very subtle ways so that when she finally snaps, it feels earned and inevitable, not tacked onto the plot. So remember, realism isn't the goal, verisimilitude is. Tarantino's worlds are not realistic, but they're definitely consistent. Manmohan Desai's films embrace comic book logic from frame one. They're consistent all through. Jigra tries to be grounded and real. Even with the performances, they're all subtle and very lifelike. And then the film veers into implausibility. And that's why the audiences check out, because the internal rules of the film don't add up. Finally, for this week's exercise, I want you guys to craft a 3-scene arc where a character goes from passive to violent. 3 scenes. In the first scene, you establish the emotional trigger of the character. In the second scene, you show the character make a choice, a decisive, active choice. In the third scene, you make the character explain that choice and the outburst that went with it. And ask yourself, does this transformation feel surprising yet inevitable? If it does, congrats, you've cracked a part of verisimilitude. Verisimilitude is created at every stage of filmmaking, from writing to production design to performance. And in all of this, it's the director's job to make sure that whatever we are watching feels true to the internal rules or logic of the storytelling, of that world. So next time you write a script, don't ask, is it realistic? Ask yourself, is this real to the world I have created? Once the audience stops believing, they stop caring. Come back again next fortnight when I'll dissect another film with promise that could have realized its potential, but for another frequently made mistake. I'm Sudhish Kamath signing off from my home studio for The Hindu. See ya.